Hello, internets, and welcome to another Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle. You can call me 12 Pack, and the battle I have for you today is against somebody called Tolo. Now, I'm very excited to be bringing this battle today because I've finally succeeded in replacing several of the roles I generally like to have on my team with some new Pokemon, so I'm not using the same Shuckle or Fortress over and over every battle. So, a little bit of history behind this battle before we hop into the team preview and I talk about these new pokes. Uh, this battle occurred at about 1 in the morning while I was busy breeding a competitive Golduck, who hopefully I'll feature in a future battle, because he turned out pretty good. But anyway, this dude challenged me to a battle. I'm like, oh, well, it's pretty late, but let's have a look at his team and see if he's, worth the time and effort to actually play against. And I saw his team and I was like, damn, this actually looks like a pretty sick team. So there was a few things on it that are kind of like meh, but I'll battle him. Let's give it a try. And the battle turned out to be extremely good. I probably couldn't really have asked for a better one. Uh, so let's hop right into the team preview here. I have not been able to obtain many of the pokes on my team for quite a while due to the fact that several of the tutor moves were previously only available in Heart Gold, Soul Silver. So starting off here, we have my utility Leavanny. Now, this is a set you've probably never seen with this thing, if you've even seen Leavanny before in the first place, because it's very rare and hardly anyone ever uses it, but it actually has a pretty solid niche that I have established for it that makes it pretty effective. So it's got max HP, max speed, both of them coming to a pretty reasonable sum at level 100, and its moves are Knock Off, Synthesis to give it a little bit of longevity. Heal Bell. It can learn Heal Bell as a tutor in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire or back in Heart Gold Soul Silver, which is excellent because I always like to have a cleric on my teams. And then the jewel in the pile of gold here is the Sticky Web. Now, there's not very many pokes that can learn Sticky Web, but Leavanny is actually one of them, making it automatically appealing to me since I love using Sticky Web. It's probably my go-to hazard move due to the fact I like to run pretty slow, bulky pokes most of the time. So anyway, Leavanny's here. Got a Focus Sash as an item just to guarantee it will get off at least some of the things I needed to before going down. And Knockoff is also a tutor move that was only available in Gold, Silver, or Ruby Sapphire. So now I'm finally able to get that on it and in turn have it on my team. So next up we got a Assault Vest Golem. Now I absolutely love Golem, and the reason I haven't been able to use him for a while is I've wanted to have Sucker Punch on him. It just seems like it would really benefit him since he's quite slow. But the only way to get it, even now, is through Heart Gold Soul Silver tutors, which I did not have. So I actually wound up getting this Golem off somebody on the internet, and from there altered it to a set of my own choosing. And this is actually an Assault Vest Golem with max HP, max Special Defense. And with Assault Vest, it becomes very bulky in Special Defense, reaching, I believe, just under 400. And without any investment, its defense is just under 300. So couple that with a pretty nice HP stat and a pretty solid attack stat, even without any investment, and he suddenly becomes quite difficult to kill while hitting rather hard with his Sucker Punch. And I also have Power Up Punch on him to give him a little bit of a boost without having a status move, which would not work with Assault Vest, and Earthquake and Rock Blast. So he does quite well this battle. Next up we got my Murkrow, who's pretty darn awesome, actually. This is a Prankster Murkrow, but not the super trolly Thunderwave Swagger one, because that's just too douchey. This is just basically a poke designed to stop setup sweepers and Staller. So he's got Taunt, Haze, Roost, and Toxic. Doesn't even carry an attacking move. And he generally is quite good. So next up we got my Clawitzer. This is a Choice Specs Clawitzer. Nothing too out of the ordinary. He's got max HP, max special attack. With that Mega Launcher ability, he hits extremely hard and actually has a decent amount of bulk to go with it. So next up we got another poke who I had not been able to obtain until recently, and that is my utility Torkoal. Now, Torkoal is actually a pretty underrated poke in my opinion. He has extremely solid defense, I believe the highest out of any fire type. And he can learn both Rapid Spin and Stealth Rock, kind of making him a slightly lesser version of Fortress. And he also gets Yawn, which is a very useful move, especially if you set up Stealth Rock first. Then you can use Yawn and force your opponent to switch, get a little chip damage off. So that's quite nice. And then we got my Trevenant here, with especially defensive Trevenant, and this thing's just a beast. It's not quite as good as Gurgi's Super, but it's definitely got its own niche that is highly effective. So, my opponent's team here, this dude has a pretty sick-looking team, I must say, with a couple exceptions. He's starting off with Porygon-Z, which is just manly. You rarely ever see Porygon-Z over its popular middle evolution Porygon-2 with that Evilite. But Porygon-Z is actually pretty underrated. He has extremely high special attack, and with Nasty Plot and adaptability, he pretty much will OKO everything after one boost. So next up we got Garchomp, and as soon as I saw this, I sighed, and I was like, man, why'd you have to bring Garchomp? Like, come on, dude, why? But people just like to generally have an anchor on their team in case shit gets real, and I believe Garchomp is here for that purpose. So next up we got Miltank, and I was like, oh, awesome, this dude is running a Miltank. I think I've played maybe one other Miltank in Wi-Fi battles, but I use it quite frequently myself, so I know what it's capable of. So I wasn't too concerned about it, although I was happy to see somebody else using it. Next up we got Magmortar. Magmortar is a freaking sick. I love him. He's awesome. He doesn't see much use in competitive, but he does have a few things that make him quite decent. He has a really good move pool, for starters, solid special attack, middling speed, but with the timid nature he can get by it. And he also can't be put to sleep thanks to that, Vital Spirit ability? Yeah, so he was probably going to be a bit concerning to my team here. And then next up we got Slowbro, and I kind of sighed when I saw this too. I was like, man, fucking Slowbro. It's just annoying because of Evilite and Regenerator, and I was not looking forward to facing it. But my opponent sort of redeemed the Slowbro with bringing a Toxicroak, who I was like, damn, son, a Toxicroak? You don't see that every day. So that's pretty sick. I was pretty impressed with that. Toxicroak is actually quite dangerous, despite not seeing a huge amount of play. With that Sucker Punch and Poison Jab, he can definitely be an effective revenge killer. So without further ado here, let's get into this battle. I've talked for 7.5 minutes, and this is a very long battle. So hopefully this recording doesn't cut out before it concludes. Without further ado, let's get going.
Tolo is issuing a challenge.
So, I'm going to lead with Utilitarian, my Leavanny, and I was very happy to be bringing this thing out for the first time. And he leads with Toxicroak, which, for a matchup against Leavanny, is not ideal due to me being weak to poison. So I'm going to swap out immediately, go into Mount St. Helens, my Torkoal here, and prepare to absorb anything he throws at me. And he goes for the Fake Out, but since I switched in, I'm not going to get flinched, although he does land the Poison Touch, which pretty much sucks because that's only like a 30% chance, and he got it first try. So, contrary to popular belief, Torkoal is not actually Rock Fire, so any fighting attack he has is not going to be super effective. I'm just straight Fire, so he actually knows that, and he swaps out into Garchomp, which is not really a great matchup for my Torkoal. However, I do go for the Yawn, predicting that switch, and now he's either going to be forced to fall asleep or switch again. And I'm pretty confident I can take any attack this thing wants to go for, so I'm going to stay in. And he goes ahead and Mega Evolves, and I'm like, bro, come on, man, you brought Mega Garchomp, like, let's sigh. But oh well, I can hopefully handle this thing. It goes for the Earthquake, and since I have about 400 odd defense at level 100, I take that. Not too badly, although I'm not going to take another one, and I'm able to get up my rocks. Like the little animation there with the smoke cloud coming in and out when I use the rocks. Anyway, I get a little health back with the leftovers, lose a little bit of health from the poison, which isn't toxic damage, but it's still enough that it's going to really hinder my longevity. So he falls asleep from Yawn, so I'm like, okay, not even bad. I'm in a somewhat okay position here, and then he brings out Miltank, and I'm like, oh, I see what you're doing here. Obviously, he's going to go for Heal Bell. Like, I've used Miltank enough times that I know that's like 100% what he's going to do. So I switch out into Utilitarian here, knowing that he does not know what I think he is likely to do. So I'm going to go for Knockoff here and hinder this Miltank's effectiveness against anything I send in later on. Knock off the leftovers, but he actually surprises me by going for the Thunder Wave, which I've never seen on Miltank, but if it's a Curse Miltank, I could see that being effective since you would always be faster. But I'm getting a bit behind. He goes for the Heal Bell on the following turn, wakes up his Garchomp, and I lay down the Sticky Webs. So now I'm going to withdraw, not wanting to take a Body Slam from this thing, or be matched up against his Garchomp if he switches it back in. So I'll go into Claw Itzer here, and he actually goes for a Seismic Toss, so this does not appear to be a Cursed Miltank, since he has Heal Bell, Thunder Wave, Seismic Toss, and I'm guessing Milk Drink. So he goes ahead and paralyzes my Claw Itzer, which was somewhat pointless because I have like really no speed. But now I may actually miss an attack here and there, and he lands a second Seismic Toss on me, making it so I'm at the point where I probably won't survive an attack against Garchomp, which Claw Itzer is really my only check to. But I managed to land the Aura Sphere and completely obliterate Miltank, so that's nice. Now I can spread status around freely without worrying about him healing his pokes up again. So in comes the Garchomp. That is not going to be good for my Claw Itzer. I do not have enough health to survive an attack from this thing at this point, so I'm going to get out of there. Bring back in my Torkoal, who's just going to have to get sacked off here for the greater good, since he's pretty much useless at the moment anyway. So, yeah, he takes a Dragon Claw and goes down. Rest in peace, Torkoal, you did somewhat okay. So, Trevenant's going to come in now. I'm relying on my ability to live any one attack from this thing, and he goes for Fire Blast, but Trevenant dodges like a boss. Attaboy. And I land the Will-O-Wisp. Now, even if I hadn't have dodged, I probably wouldn't have done a ton since I am specially defensive, and Garchomp probably doesn't have any special attack investment, but nonetheless, I get the burn off, and then I switch out into the Meteor, my Golem here, and he goes for another Fire Blast, and Golem dodges it too. What the fuck? My Poke's just dodging stuff like left and right. Crazy. Just evading the Fire Blast for days. So he's going to withdraw here and send out Slowbro, and I'm like, oh boy. Ice Beam or Scald incoming. But I had gone for Power Up Punch on this turn to boost my attack up a little bit. And there it goes, lands on Slowbro. And it does like next to nothing, although I do get the +1 attack boost. And he has Rocky Helmet, so I'm like, oh, you little bitch. At least he doesn't have Evilite, but Rocky Helmet is going to be pretty annoying later on. So anyway, I'm going to swap out into Trevenant in predictions of the Scald, but he actually goes for Toxic, so that was unfortunate because now Trevenant is poisoned, which is going to hamper my stalling capability. So he's gradually starting to spread status all around my team, and he withdraws, not showing any of the attacking moves he has, and goes out into Magmortar. I'm like, oh shit. Well, obviously Flamethrower or Fire Blast is incoming here, and he loses a bit of speed and takes a bit of damage from the Stealth Rock. I had gone for Horn Leech on the Slowbro, but since Magmortar switched in, it lands on him, and I actually do somewhat decent damage, all things considered. I get my health back to full, but the Toxic is going to drain me down lower than where I was at the start of the turn, so there's that. So anyway, I'm going to withdraw, not wanting to take the Fire Blast, and even though I suspect this thing has Focus Blast, I'm going to go into Golem here, and unfortunately he predicted that and goes for Focus Blast. And I should mention here that this dude is no slouch when it comes to battling. This guy had almost 900 battles played, so he obviously knows what he's doing. And you'll see here, he does catch me several times. And as I said that, Golem dodged a Focus Blast like a man. Man, Golem is like a ninja this battle. And he's at like 60 health now, and Porygon-Z comes in. And I'm like, oh, Golem, you're going to have to go down with the ship now, because nothing wants to take a Tri-Attack from this thing, even as he gets the special attack boost from Analytic. And he goes for a Dark Pulse, actually, instead, so maybe predicting my Trevenant. And Golem lives! What? No way! 10 health. How did he survive that? That thing had +1 special attack, and Golem somehow lived. Do not underestimate Golem, people. He is good. And unfortunately, he does go down there, but not before he lands the Sucker Punch. And even though he didn't KO anything, I'm completely okay with his performance. He survived way longer than he had any right to. So anyway, I'm going to bring in my Murkrow here to try to stop that thing from going for any sort of nasty plots with Taunt, I think. And Slowbro actually swaps in against me. But I went for Toxic instead of Taunt, and I missed, unfortunately, at 90%, so that really sucks. And he's going to go for the Ice Beam here, as I taunt him, predicting him to toxic me, and I get frozen off the Ice Beam. I'm like, are you kidding me, man? You guys have no idea how often that happens to me, where I'll get Ice Beamed first time and get frozen on a 10% chance. Like, it's fucking bullshit. So anyway, I'm going to switch in Leavanny here, hoping I can take 2 hits from an Ice Beam, but he does enough damage and I'm not going to be able to get, or take another hit before I can get off Heal Bell. So I have to switch out into Clawitzer here. And I really should have done this in the first place, because there's no way he's going to be able to take down Clawitzer in 2 shots, since I resist both Scald, which I'm assuming he has, and Ice Beam. So his taunt wears off, but since he can't toxic me because I'm already paralyzed, he switches out into Magmortar, giving me a turn to land a free hit on whatever he wants, basically. But he sacks off his Magmortar in a rather intelligent play, because now whatever he switches in is going to outspeed me and be able to kill me without me landing a massive Choice Specs hit on it. So Toxicroak's going to come in. The Fake Out is pretty obvious at this point, but I do not want to switch into Trevenant to block it or anything, so Clawitzer's just got to go down with the ship here. It's sad, but he really doesn't have enough health or speed to contend with anything left on his team except Slowbro, which I have Trevenant to deal with. So Clawitzer goes down. He did somewhat not bad. And now Trevenant comes in. Now I'm relying on my bulk to take a poison jab. And sure enough, he goes for it, and I live with half health, which is completely fine. Popping my Citrus Berry and getting myself back up to mostly full. Now I retaliate with the Will-O-Wisp here, burning Toxicroak and severely hampering its effectiveness. And I'm taking a little toxic damage, which I have not got rid of yet, and that is priority right now, since if I don't get rid of it, I'm not going to be able to stall out Slowbro later. And he's going to withdraw, send in Porygon-Z, obviously intending to Dark Pulse me, but I think I'd actually stayed in that turn and gone for a Horn Leech, as his download gives him... Oh no, I went for Protect. His download gave him +1 attack, which isn't going to matter at all, because he probably has 0 attacking moves. So he goes for Ice Beam. I'm like, come on, Trevenant, you got to take this, buddy. Please? Oh, 4 health? What? No way. Trevenant. Man, do not underestimate the might of Trevenant, dude. He's a beast. So I take out Porygon-Z at just under half health with a neutral Horn Leech, without any attack investments, and somehow live the poison damage at 3 health on top of surviving the Ice Beam at 4 health. So Trevenant just, like, I don't even know the odds of all that happening, plus getting the Harvest. It's just astronomical. So anyway, now I really need to get out of here, because the poison damage will KO me next turn. Toxicroak is back out, but it's not that big of a threat since it is burned right now. So I'm going to send in my Murkrow, and Murkrow here has got to thaw the fuck out, or basically before he kills me, because I can use Prankster and get Roost off, and hopefully stall this thing out. So he's going to go for a Poison Jab, which does a pretty decent amount of damage to me. He's getting a little health back every turn with Black Sludge, so prolonging the inevitability of his decline from the burn damage. Now, I'm still frozen. I have 1 more turn pretty much to live. And, ooh, what? 1 health off a critical hit? Oh, like, wow, my Pokemon are just surviving on the most unlikely amount of HP, like, ever this game. It's kind of ridiculous. But, unfortunately, I don't luck out in the status department and remain frozen. And he's able to take out the Murkrow, which really sucks because he would have been extremely useful still. But now, on the upside, I'm able to get in now I'm able to get a KO switch into my Leavanny, so he can't attack me twice before I can get off the Heal Bell. Basically, I just have to be able to survive a Poison Jab. So I'm like, come on, Leavanny, you can do it. He's burned. Oh, eat it up! 15 health. How? Oh my god. Like, this is like the most ridiculous amount of low HP survivals I think I've ever seen. So I get off the Heal Bell, not getting paralyzed and lucking out extremely hard right there. So basically now I have to stall this thing out with Synthesis and hope it dies before I run out of PP, which I only have 8 of, even with PP up. So I'm actually going to skip ahead here because this goes on for 7-ish turns, I believe. So please excuse me as I boost ahead from turn 37 here to turn 43. Now, this thing is actually really slow skipping, so I hope you'll forgive me for the brief break here. So basically, I had to hope that Toxicroak would not get a critical hit before I could stall him out with burn damage. And I couldn't go for an attack because had I gone for that, he could have sucker punched me, and I did not want to risk that happening. So it was a really tense situation for a few turns here as I desperately tried to wear him down enough. And when this thing resumes here, I will be out of Synthesis PP. If this ever happens. Come on now, we got places to go, things to see here. Ding doo 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 doo. It's so slow. There we go. Okay, so we're back and I go for my last Synthesis here. Turn 43. And he did actually get off the Poison Touch in the interval there between the skip turns. So I'm losing more HP every turn. He lands another Poison Jab. Does not get the critical hit, thankfully, but his Black Sludge saves him for one more turn so that he does not die from the burn damage, and we're both at extremely low amounts of health now. So this turn, I have no Synthesis PP left, so I have to go for Knockoff to KO this thing, and fortunately he doesn't Sucker Punch me. So that was pretty lucky, and Toxicroak goes down. Livani is left with pretty much no HP now at 11. So now all he has left is his Slowbro, which I'm pretty confident I can stall out with Trevenant if I can get rid of this Rocky Helmet with Knockoff. So I'm obviously going to be faster than him this turn. So what do? Go right ahead and go for Knockoff. Land it, do about a third of health, not bad, and die from the Rocky Helmet damage. And this is the defining moment of the battle. I'm not sure if you noticed, but I didn't knock off the Rocky Helmet. And it turns out that if you use Knockoff with low HP and the Rocky Helmet damage kills you, you do not knock off the Rocky Helmet. So this turn I go for a Protect to hopefully get my Harvest back. Do not. Go for the Horn Leech, thinking I had knocked off the Rocky Helmet. Do really solid damage, get back decent amounts of HP, and then take the Rocky Helmet damage to the point where his Ice Beam is now able to KO me. I was so disappointed when that happened. Disappointed and very confused, actually. I had to go and look up what the hell just happened because I could not understand why Knockoff didn't work. And that is a very small technicality I was not aware of, and it cost me the game. But I'm still extremely satisfied with how my team performed in that battle, considering what I was up against. I was definitely outmatched in terms of pure power on my opponent's team, and I feel like I played really strong despite all that. I'm definitely